Hello everyone. Hello and welcome to today's session of the Azure Cloud Security Meetup Group. So we have a wonderful session lined up. Of course, I'm sure that you can see the amazing faces on your screen right now. So we have today we have Ibrahima, we have CJ himself, and and we have myself. So the three of us, we're going to be looking after this, and then Ibrahima will be doing the moderation. I'll be sort of like in the background, and CJ will be presenting to us. So hello, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Doing fine. You?
Yeah, doing good. Thanks, doing good. How's it been? How's your weeks been? How's it going? Going okay?
All is going fine. I can't complain.
Yeah. So first of all, congratulations to Ibrahima. He just got awarded his MVP. So how are you feeling now as the latest MVP in town? What's going, Ibrahima?
Hi
you're making
everyone, how are you doing, TJ?
I
awesome. Yes, I said, how are you feeling now as the new MVP in town? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling
Oh, I
good.
think that is it. Yeah.
It's I got it for now, so I think before
We have some.
believing it's real.
Yeah, we have some delay also, like in the voice, but we have CJ who is also about to be like an Azure MVP. So it's just a few moments time. So okay, so
well,
CJ, what are we going to be learning today? So people are waiting. We're looking to learn some interesting information around Azure security. So what are we going to be learning today?
today it's just about learning how to suppress alerts in Azure. So within the Azure Security Center environment. So for instance, often you get alerts and then it's kind of repetitive. So you can use a suppress alert mechanism to suppress this alert, so not to get it frequently or to ignore it because it has less low importance to you. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds like an interesting topic. So, ladies and
It does.
gentlemen,
Yeah.
yeah. So we leave you in the capable hands of CJ and Ibrahima. So please don't leave your questions in the chat window as CJ goes through the presentation, and then we're all going to circle back to carry on with the topic. So over to you now, CJ.
Thank you, David. Nice to have you, guys. Welcome. Hope you guys have had a nice day. Good evening from here, Amsterdam, and across the globe. So today, just to learn about a bit of threats in Azure and how to detect that, and how to suppress threats using Azure Security Center. And this is part of the Azure Defender suite. If for those of you who are familiar with Azure Security Center, so it's kind of a cohesive generic environment that monitors your cloud environment and gives you recommendations based on the CIS ranking on how your environment is, so your workload, how it is, and how it matches to the benchmark, security baseline and benchmark of Microsoft. So a bit about me. a cloud enthusiast, kind of a cloud consultant. I've been doing a lot of things in the cloud for the last 8 years, and also a Microsoft certified trainer. So I'm also the co-organizer of the Azure Nigeria user group. So we kind of a community, part of the Microsoft tech community, where we train people on how to on the Azure cloud and how to learn more about new features or technology within Azure in different areas. So ranging from DevOps, security, app, web app, and also, for instance, AKS, for instance. So today I will take you guys quickly to first to understand uh, what is suppression alerts using Azure Defender within the Azure Security Center, and how to create suppression rule, and then how to create and manage suppression rules with the API. So this is a different option. And then further to how to suppress the suppression rule. So how to edit your suppression rules, and then finally on how to delete the suppression rule. So what is firstly what is the reason to use suppression rule? So basically it helps to reduce the threat protection within your ecosystem and make it more effective. So often for those of you who already use Security Center, you will see there is often a lot of recommendation coming from Microsoft on what to do with scores and pointers on how to make your environment to be secure based on Microsoft benchmark. But then most of these alerts of very low importance or very low recommendation to use. So often most of them are false positive. So how do you make sure that they don't come up again? And then giving you the time to focus on the most important alerts. So, and that's where suppression rule comes into effect. So it helps you to manage threats in any area of environment, and then to make sure that those false positive alerts are ignored. And this is often triggered too often to be used. And then when you can suppress then you have a better efficiency in managing or looking at the threats based on Microsoft security documentation. So first, we have to look at how to create suppression rules. So there are two ways. So you can use the REST APIs way, or you can use the GUI from the GUI interface of the Azure Security Center to create that. And basically, it's just to look at first to understand. Okay, looking at the Azure Security Center recommendations, and then look at, okay, those alerts you think are false positive. Example could be, from my experience, monitoring, looking at Microsoft security documentation within Azure Security Center. It's like there's somebody is logging in from an unknown location. When I see that, I already know, okay, for instance, say a colleague logged into Azure portal to our own directory from a unknown IP address or an unknown location. To me or to us, it's not a worry. So just to make sure it doesn't come up again. So we now create a suppression rule from using the GUI interface via the Azure portal, and then we have to provide a name, provide the reason. Reason could be alert was flagged for somebody logging in from an unusual location, and also could be that his IP address is logging in is unknown. So then we create it, and then it goes with the duration and how this suppression rule will last. So I could show you some print screen later on how to do this. So basically, you could see, for instance, this is just a blade from the Azure Security Center on creating a suppression rule. So when you're going to create the suppression rule, you have to just indicate and give the rules, and then also provide specific criteria. So the next blade shows you on how to achieve this. So first, you need to choose a subscription. So it asks you which Azure subscription you want this rule to be on. So that's a condition. And then the alerts. So you want to use, there is already alerts configured by Microsoft. So built-in alerts criteria, or you can select a custom alert. And they have to provide entities. So basically, the entities could be kind of duration, and also you have to provide the rule. So the rule name, the state, enable or disable, or the reason. So the reason could also be built-in reasons or other reasons, and then you have to provide the rule expiration. So how long does this rule will last? Because it needs expiration. So like I said, providing the name and then the state, enabled or disabled, and then most importantly, the reason for creating the suppression rule alerts, and then most especially the expiration date to it. Another thing is just to use like within the blade is a simulation button. The simulation button helps you to understand or to see how this rule will apply or how this rule will work in the background after you have set it up. So you can now also choose an option of simulation button and then click on that. And then the next is to save, and then the suppression rule will be created for you. Any questions so far? If you have any question or anything, just let me know before we can progress further to the next topics. I guess there's no question, so I would proceed further. So further is to create and manage suppression rules with APIs. So basically, for those of you who have worked with APIs, there's often get functions you can call in, so like a put, a get, or delete function. So when you're doing an API calls, so and this works with the REST APIs. So it could be to put, is to create or to update a suppression rule in a specified subscription, like I showed, or to use the get of function. So to link, and that link could be to list all the rules configured for a specified subscription. And this method often gives you an array of applicable rules. Also, to use the delete functionalities. So you could delete an existing rule. So you call the APIs, and it deletes for you an existing rule, but then it doesn't change the status of the alerts already dismissed by it. So there's also documentation on API documentation on if you would like to read further about how to enable these and how to use the API to do the API to do the suppression rules creation and then use the put or get or delete functions. So when you already created a suppression rule and then submitted it, you can also go back to edit it. There could be maybe you would like to add something extra to it, to the rule, or you want to just alter the reason for the rule, for the suppression rule. And this you can also do from the Azure Security Center. So within the Azure Security Center, then you can go further to the security alerts column. And then from there, you can now see a list of suppression rules you have already created. And then you can now choose the one you need, and then you can now edit it further. And after then, you can now save it. So this is what it looks like. So you could see there are already two suppression rules created and it's already enabled. Say I would like to edit one of those. I'll just select one of those pointers, so the three dots. So I have to drink water. And then then the blade opens. So when the blade opens, you can now do the changes and then modify the change we need, and then save it again. Then the suppression rule will still get intact and then enabled. So what that does is that when Azure Security Center does this automation, so as you know, the Azure portal itself has a kind of an AI mechanism behind it. It monitors and collects informations around the Azure environment and also around your workload within Azure. So, and those reports or those informations are calculated and then stored in the security center for you. So when the suppression rules is done, then it works alongside in tandem with the alert being created and the alert being submitted. So when the alert you created, say for instance, the suppression rule you created, say for instance, you do not want to see the alerts, for instance, could be somebody logged in an unused or in an IP address or a location he or she have not used before. That alert will be suppressed automatically. And that's the key benefit, and that's the reason to use suppression rules. So for the folks who works in the security as a security engineer, this is very crucial. This is very helpful. So it gives you time to focus on the real threats, real alerts, or real recommendations given to you by Microsoft Security Center, and then don't focus on those that you know for sure is not a threat or it's a false positive. So to delete a suppression rule, you could just go to this to the Security Center's page, and then click on the suppression rule link, and then on the top of the page you can now open the rules for the selected subscription. So most organizations have kind of different kind of subscriptions. So it could be dev test, development environment, and as a production environment. Also, most organizations can also have like acceptance environments. So often the suppression rules is very vital, say in a production environment, because that's where things are created and run live. So you test or develop things in your dev subscription, and when it works, so you already made an MVP, so a minimum viable product. So when it works, you can now push it to the production environment. And in the suppression and the production environment, it's very vital to have kind of a suppression rule. Say, for instance, you're working in an environment where there's a lot being built in your organization, and as a security engineer, it's very vital for you to focus on those alerts that matters, that are threatening, and then to mitigate it. So basically, so these are the suppression rules. And when you click on the remove button, these suppression rules will disappear. And so you just tick the ones you want, and then the suppression rule will be deleted. And then, so now that means the alerts, say in this case, alert that picks up a login from an unused location will also be triggered, will come up from the Azure security recommendation when you check on the Azure Security Center. So that's basically how suppression rule works. I use it a lot in my own environment. In my role, I have to do a lot of security controls, so ranging from patch ups, using Azure recommendation to do upgrades, so VM upgrade. Also look at now at disk inscription, so I have like a VM virtual machines that need the disk to be encrypted to give a kind of a extra layer of security around it, and also financial security recommendation can also get a lot like to provide a just-in-time mechanism to access for vision machines, and that helps to harden the security of a vision machine. So, if there's any question, are there questions? Anything, or you can ask any question, and then I could take it up, or anything related to security in Azure in general. I think I have, let me see from the chart. So a question is, how are the rules created? Okay, I would show my Azure portal. So basically, so I'm within the security alerts in this Azure portal environment. So within Security Center, you could see security alerts. These alerts have kind of a low within the C score. It has a low importance, so kind of high risk, critical, medium, and low. So from this blade, I could now go to within security alerts. I could now go to suppression rules. So you could see already there's already two suppression rules in my suppression rules blade, but these two are already expired. So you could now click on create, like I showed earlier, and then you have to fill in provide informations. First, it's asking which subscriptions you want this suppression rule to be tied to. So I have a lot of subscriptions here. I selected already two. So you can select one, you have to select one, and then you can either select custom or all, so alerts. So the custom kind of shows you common scenarios or common titles of the suppression rule you could create. And then say you want to create custom, so custom could be logging from unusual data center or logging from an unusual location. And also could be traffic detected from IP address recommended for blocking. So you could select any one of those. And then further on, you can now select the rule details. So provide the rule name and the state. So if you want to put enabled or disabled, and then you could put any comment there. And lastly, you just have to provide the rule expiration. So the rule expiration, it gives you the kind of the range you want this suppression rule to last. So within that period, those alerts will be ignored, will not be flagged. So it will be ignored, it will not come up. And then after this expiration, this rule will expire, and meaning that, say, in a case of you could there's a lot say like okay, it's an unusual data center login, it will not come up as a recommendation within your Azure Security Center recommendation, and then you have to take or do something about it based on the level of the alert. So, like I said, there is critical, high risk, medium, and low. So this is basically how it works. Yeah, I think it's very clear with the question. Let me check another question. Okay, yeah, answered. Okay, let's see. Uh, yeah, another question? I think I can't find another question, just that question. Yeah. So yeah, that's it from my side. If there's any question, you can also reach me on my LinkedIn account, or also on my Twitter handle with my name, or you can also check me up on the Meetup security group. I'm part of the co-organizers alongside David and Ibrahima. Yeah. So I hope you guys will have a nice day. Ibrahima, that's it from my side. Okay, I got a question. Can the suppression rule be tied to a resource group specifically? Not really, not really. So the key criteria there is the resource, so is the subscription to have it in place. So from what I showed, it cannot be tied down to a resource group. So the reason why is that if that's the case, there will be a provision for that to fill it in. Probably using the API way, it might be possible to do that. Yeah. Any other questions? So at first, I hope this is very clear to you, the question. Okay. Got a message. Oh, I got a message that you guys didn't see my screen the last demo. So try to open it here. Moments. Hope this works. Okay. I guess this should be better now. Can you see my screen now? My Azure portal environment? Yeah, okay, yeah. So, you can see my screen. So this is the Azure portal environment. So basically, what you're seeing here is just suppression rules already created. Let me go back to how to reach to this screen. So this is the Azure environment. So you guys should know about it. So you just have to locate the security center. So Azure Security Center. So this is Azure Security Center. And wait a moment, it's opening. So the security center is based on the CIS benchmark, so of which Microsoft adheres to, and based on that, builds the Azure environment. So you could see in general, it gives you kind of a dashboard, a generic environment, what's going on in these two subscriptions. So there's two Azure subscriptions, and then 104 resources, and there's 25 active recommendations and 4 security alerts. So you could see the security alerts. So these are security alerts. So if you want to create a security suppression rule, just have to click on suppression rules. Then you can click on create new suppression rule. So the blade opens up, and in this blade, you can just fill in, choose a subscription. So I have a lot of subscriptions here. I already chose 2 already. And then I have to now choose kind of the alert I want. So at the moment, the alert is loading up. So, okay, cool. You could see the alert could be to uh, to 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 show traffic detected from IP address recommended for blocking. So that could be an alert. Or you can also choose for all, or you could see different categories of alert you could create. So ranging from alert from a Azure resource or DNS or file or FireHash or IP or malware could be. And then you have to provide the field. So if you select the type, provide the field and the value. So next is to provide the rule name. So you have to now put the rule name here, and then you have to state the state you want it to be. So whether you want it to be enabled after creating it, so it goes enabled immediately, or you want it to be disabled. And that's basically how to do that. Then the next is just the reason. So what is the reason for this rule? So basically, a reason could be alert detecting normal activities on a specific entity, or could be an alert detecting too many normal activities. So you should just have to choose one of those, or it could be that an alert occurs often, so it's too noisy, and they're hitting on the same resource too many times. So you now have to set it up here, and then if you have any comment, you can just put any comments. And then lastly, to provide the rule expiration, so the range of time you want this alert to last. So I do think that, yeah, it's possible to create a suppression rule for resource group. Yeah. So basically, when you choose a subscription from all of this, what is it?
We have a new question.
Somebody just
How
said
about trigger for an alert, an email, or SMS for the code?
I think, yeah, that sounds nice, but I think from what I'm seeing, it's not possible. Yeah. So basically, you within Azure Security Center, you could configure alerts, and the alerts could go to your email or SMS if something happens, and it's kind of in the logs, kind of the activity log, or access review, for instance, or you want to be notified when a visual machine is deallocated or connected or something like that, or you want to be alerted, say for instance, a network watcher picked up irregularities within your vision machine, something like that. But within suppression rules, from this blade, I cannot see it. So it means uh, it's not possible. Probably it will be possible in the future. Yeah. So that's basically how to create a suppression rule. Yeah. And then, so like I said, there's already two suppression rule already created here. So these two have been are expired. So to delete this is just basically easy. To just select one of those, and then you can delete it. Or you could, if say you want to edit this suppression rule already created, you can just click the edit button and edit further, and that's how it works. So back to security center. So this is just the generic environment of the state, the health of my resources within these two subscriptions for a tenant, for a given tenant. So the recommendations. So within this blade, just loading up, gives you kind of overall score of the my the of my resources based with Microsoft benchmark. So 58% score. So this score is a 32 out of 56, and the percentile is 58%. So means that I have more resources that are not healthy than resources that are healthy, and those in red I need to fix, and this is plotted or given to you by Microsoft, benchmarking the baseline they have. So the Azure security benchmark, like I said, yeah. So if you want to learn more about, you can now, when you visit the Azure Portal Cloud, you can now read further on how this Microsoft came about with this Azure security benchmark. So it's based on the CIS, and that's how Azure operates, and that's how Microsoft keeps your Azure environment safe and healthy and protected. Yeah. Any other question? Okay, is there a way to view historical alerts within Security Center? Yeah, so you could see from here, so this alert. So you could see the alert, the past alerts, suppression rules. And also, you can also use log analytics. You can use log analytics to view past historical alerts created. So within Security Center, you could see it from here, security suppression rules. You can see this. These are past one and they expired. Any other question? So that's it from my side. If there's any question, you can look me up on LinkedIn or on Twitter. Yeah. Oh, back to my presentation. Okay, I just saw a question coming up. Is the Security Center a separate subscription feature in Azure? No, is you have, like, if you don't have if you have a free tier, it doesn't work. You can't say it. So it's an extra feature which you have to pay for. So this is just a feature within Security Center, and to have access to it, you have to pay for it. Yeah. So for instance, say you want to use just-in-time login to virtual machines. Basically costs like $15 for a VM, for instance. So it's just an extra cost. Say you're using like a EA Enterprise Agreement license from Microsoft, or using a CSP Cloud Solution Provider license. And so in a case, say you're using an EA license, the cost just go directly to the upfront cost you buy, or you're using like a reserved instances. Yeah. So it's an extra cost in future on top of the security center. Another question? No question extra. So you're welcome. So that's it for for my side. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a nice evening. Thank you.